Breaking news! Worst Magic the Gathering set has good cards in it. Entangler is a 4-mana white aura which says that the enchanted creature may block any number of creatures. Now, this card may seem innocuous or even just kind of bad at first glance. 4 mana on a sorcery speed aura to basically block all of one person's attacks for 1 round? Yeah, I think I'll pass. Just give me a Holy Day or a Mandate of Peace. Those will do the job better, cheers. But like with many cards that I talk about here on the Scrap Iron Steve channel, this card is absolutely insane with the correct synergies. Yep, and honestly, you don't have to look that far for those correct synergies. No, all you need is a card with Death Touch or Indestructible, and you're off to the races. See, people are already reticent to attack into boards with even moderately good blocks, so add to that situation a large Death Toucher, say for example Nethroi, equipped with an Entangler, which, thanks to the Foundation's blocking rules, can easily send, 4, 5 or more attackers packing, and you've got a recipe for not a single attack happening your way ever. And, sticking with this Nethroi situation, yes, the Nethroi would also be sent 6 feet under, but a 5 for 2 trade, still definitely in your favour, especially in a deck like Nethroi, where the commander is happy to die and be cast again. It's kind of needless to say, looking at that situation, that Death Touch and Entangler are a very powerful defensive force in tandem with each other. And, that interaction with Death Touch is kind of just the tip of the iceberg, because it's when you whack this thing on an indestructible or indestructible adjacent creature that the true spice comes out. And I mean, the reason why this is great is blatantly obvious, right? Whacking this onto a creature that can't die to combat damage, in essence means that creatures that don't have some form of evasion simply cannot get through your incredibly irritating wall, and you become impervious to just a good solid chunk of the damage that we dealt during the game, with bonus points if the Indestructible Entangler is also a flyer, because that means it can block even more. But even after all this, do you want to know something? It still gets better, because there are quite a few cards which have some pretty powerful effects when they're dealt damage, and some of those are even indestructible, don't you know? Of course, the classics are Brash Taunter and Stuffy Doll, but there are others which can be just as potent. Indeed, some of the best commanders for this card are Jared Carthalion Trueair and Anti-Venom, which prevent any damage dealt to them and turn it into tasty +1 counters, ready for a backswing. Yes, Jared requires you to be the Monarch for this to work, but, once you are the Monarch, Entangler is very much making sure that you stay in power. And they're just 2 in a whole host of commanders that like this card. Obviously, as with all Strange Old Weirdo cards, it goes really nicely with your Strange Old Weirdo commanders like Oris, Isha, and Runetail. But there are cards printed this decade that love a bit of entangling themselves. Area the Beguiler, for example, will happily slap this on an opponent's creature, yoink it, and turn it into block fodder which you just don't care about losing, because it's not yours. Alternatively, Lightpaws can cast an Entangle and then tutor an Indestructibility, turning one of your creatures into your indestructible Entangling bot, while also being loaded up with other auras, as a Lightpaws deck is wont to do. And even at its most simple, Entangle can work really nicely in something like Rodolph, as he is a flying Death Toucher who can get himself indestructible at the drop of a hat. Overall, Entangler is not the best card ever. In a lot of situations, it pales in comparison to a basic fog effect. But when paired with the correct cards, it becomes one of the most impactful cards on the entire table, bar none. And well, that makes it a pretty darn good card in my eyes. But God, Prophecy was trash.